And
I said it back then.
People knew even before 10/8 that their leadership was in cut. It was all, if you look at Times
Operation
of Israel
Jericho Wall
or Jerusalem Post or any of Israel's own major publications, to say nothing of like what there's that French outlet or so that does a ton of Israeli propaganda. They've all talked about this openly for a very, very, very long time, complaining, which I understand may come across as out of character, but complaining, kvetching, if you will, about the fact that their money is going to support their supposed, mortal enemies.
Because it was convenient. I mean, if you go back, if you rewind to like 2005, they assassinated Arafat, and they had to get rid of the PLO and turn it into the PA. You couldn't have a liberation organization. You had to have Palestinian Authority to like keep it under the lid, keep the lid on that situation. And essentially, Israelis are like, it's like red ants and black ants in a jar, and the jar says, "Pick this up and shake it," and the hand that picks it up and shakes it is the Anglo-American establishment. Any questions? There you go.
Are they God's people, though? Do you divide? I'm just throwing arbitrary, stupid, emotional shit out there as an example of
we're all God's people.
I was going to say
it.
Yeah. Claims of, claims of speciality and superiority are generally seen as racist and less than intelligent, but everyone has a right to believe what they believe. What you don't have a right to do is take your beliefs and take other people's freedom. Yeah. That's it.
I did enjoy Noam Finkelstein's characterization of Shmuley as a Holocaust denier. That was accurate in terms of the comparison he's trying to make. Maybe not historically accurate in terms of the way the events actually transpired, but the point that he's trying to make and the way that Shmuley, sat there all fidgety and sweaty about it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's this so like I wasn't aware of who Rabbi Shmuley was until I saw him going around with RFKJr, and that was after I had seen like the cracks in his armor about the whole do you support the ethnic cleansing and genocide question? And what's your position on AIPAC? And Dave Smith left him there, and there were 6 seconds of silence. I was like, no one's read him in on these questions. He doesn't know. Like, and if he knows, he's not doing a good job of like referring it out there that he does. So it's an interesting situation because his dad and uncle had some problems with, it wasn't called the Israeli lobby back then. It was called the Zionist lobby. They had some problems back in the 60s. You guys might have heard about some
one or
stuff.
two.
So
yeah,
I can understand. Yeah, I could understand his hesitance to speak openly about such things, but that does not change the facts of these matters. And when he starts to advocate for, like, he has unconditional support for Israel, but he has very conditional support for your Second Amendment rights. And when people push back on me, I said, I was there at the Porcupine Freedom Festival when I was outside with hundreds of armed men who were at the festival, who were not allowed to hear what RFK Jr. said because you had to go through metal detectors and be in a closed metal building with a bunch of unarmed people that we didn't know. And so I didn't get to hear his speech. But what I heard from the people who did disarm and go in and hear it, very conditional support from the questions. And he didn't have unconditional support for Ross Ulbricht. And if I was a billionaire, Ross Ulbricht and Julian Assange would be free men right now. There's no way you could keep me from spending my money on marketing the truth to people. And they would see those for the political prisoners, situations, and egregious violations of justice and humanitarian activities that have gone on. But you got plenty of billionaires out there that'll show you their planes and their jets and, Bezos, and they're all going to Epstein's Island and stuff like that. So, you speak truth to power. There are prices. Julian did incredible things while he was a free man. And I am disappointed that so few people appreciate freedom in a way, not to give your life, but to just fucking give some money to some ad campaigns would have done it.